Hi, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode here on the Carlisle Club podcast. As you guys know, I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Meel Vignetting. Hello, Meel.
Hello, Kyle.
How are you doing on this a whimsical Thursday?
I am doing wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Me. Well, some
Yes.
people would say if I felt any better, the lotto would win me.
That's awesome. Well, I'd say Lotte would be very lucky to have you.
Yeah, so but I don't know what the lotto would do with me once it has me, and I don't know what to do when I'm there either. So either or, it's a very confusing situation. So, and I always think about this when I tell people this, because I always go through different types of things when people ask me how I am. Oh, if I felt any
Okay,
better,
yeah.
I'd be illegal, or if I felt any better, vitamins will be taking me, and all of these things. And afterwards, people laugh and walk away, and then I think to myself, what does that actually mean? You know?
What does it mean? Well, if I can add to that, I would hope that the Lotte doesn't spend you and that the
All at
Lotte
one
will
place.
save you and yeah, like buy a house or a Lamborghini or they go drinking or whatever. I hope that the Lotto would use you wisely
What would you think you can buy with one Kyle?
with one Kyle.
That-
Hmm. I
what can you
think
buy
the
with one
independence of
meal?
Cape Town. One meal, I think just a very long vacation, definitely.
Where where would you see yourself as a vacation, if a meal vacation though? Where would that be?
Definitely somewhere tropical
Mm,
where,
yes.
with like white beach, like crystal clear water, lots of cocktails, good food. Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely
feel the
tropical.
tropical vibes. Okay, okay. Well, everybody,
Yes, definitely.
Meal is a musician, a mother, and amongst other things, me an artist. So, Meal, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, oh my
Yeah, you
word.
as a person.
As a person,
Hmm.
um, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah, I know.
um, it's been a very, very long time since I've actually spent time with myself. You know, just me and my thoughts and getting to know myself. It's really been a crazy few years, and just out of the blue, I resigned my job yesterday.
What? Really?
I did. I found another job and I resigned my day job because this was just consuming my life completely. And lately I've been feeling like I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I feel like I'm losing the, like my magic. I'm losing my magic,
Wow.
my creativeness, everything. This job was just sucking the life out of me. So, and I've been praying and asking the universe for, just like help me get out of this freaking thing. And a friend actually approached me and made me an offer. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to take it. So I quit my job and now I'm going to get to know myself again from scratch.
It's really interesting that you mentioned this, and I know you for a while, and a lot of
Yeah.
people have looked at me in a certain sense, and they thought, "Oh wow, that must be quite bad for you to be alone all that time." But it was actually my saving grace because I got to spend
Yeah.
time. Because I spent time alone in a flat in lockdown, just me myself,
I know. That
and
was crazy.
but it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And you don't have that
Yes,
luxury in the sense of you're a mom of two boys, you've got your job, there's so
exactly.
many other things that you need to do in your life. And it's actually really important to have that alone time with your own thoughts. If it's not work, it's what
Definitely.
what the school is happening. There's two schools involved and extramurals and all of those things. you don't have that
Yeah.
time to actually reflect and take that introspection, and it's taken a toll on your mental health. How has that influenced? How do you make time for things like that?
It's crazy. I can't tell you. It's really crazy. Um, so I got divorced a couple of years ago, and so ever since then I've been obviously a single mom. The kids stay with me full time. It's crazy, you know. So it's really been the last couple of years have just been like surviving, and the last couple of months was just like it was insane because my eldest went to high school and my youngest went to like moved on to first grade. So that's been hectic adjusting to that, and work is like crazy, and yeah, everything was just crazy. So I think now I can just relax a little bit, have a breather, you know, like just chill and start from scratch, you know. Because it's true what you say. You need to spend some time with yourself and with your thoughts to process things that you go through. And you know, when life is a rush and you go through like certain traumas, you don't get a chance to work through them or let them sink in, to feel the emotion, deal with it, and get over it and move on. You know, it just everything just festers underneath. So
Where
yeah,
does
you
your
have to
mind
make
go?
time for yourself.
Where does your mind go in your creative projects, such as your music and your art? So, is that time that you spend by yourself, or is that a form of escapism to also not be in your own thoughts? Where does your thinking process go when you act out creatively?
Yeah. Um, I have found with my music, I tend to release a lot of my relationship things, if I can call it that. So be it like positive or negative, or but most of my music or my songs lyrics, they always go they're always it's always about relationships, be it romantic or family or friends or whichever. And then when with my art stuff, I feel like that's more where the like warped stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Because if I do art, I literally go into a trance, and then when I'm done with it and I look back, I'm like, ooh, okay. Yeah. So, and that's also, I haven't had time to do any art for the last couple of months, you know. So I feel that's another release that I haven't been able to use. So I have all this stuff boiling up inside of me.
All of that other stuff. But
Yeah.
do you think it's you? I'm only spitballing this, but do you think
Yeah.
because you don't have that introspection, that time alone, you funnel all of that emotion through your creative projects?
It could be. It could be. Yeah. So I think I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really. The last time I wrote a song was in hard lockdown. You know, so that's the last time I actually wrote a song. And I've been trying. You know, when I have time to play guitar and stuff, if I'm not rehearsing for gigs. So I've been trying, but I just feel like there's a little bit of a block. But I think it's because there's so much going on in my mind.
Yeah, so
I
much
don't
time
know how
management that
to
needs to be done, with your own life,
exactly,
and you've got two other lives that you need to keep alive at this and happy at the same
exactly.
time. So where does one
Yeah,
actually just relax?
exactly. And you know, with so much going on, it's difficult to just pinpoint something and to write about one thing because there's like my mind is just literally like a swarm of bees, if I can put it that way. So yeah, it's crazy, but that's why I'm really looking forward to, you know, like having weekends and you know, maybe not work in the evenings anymore, because that's something that's become a part of my life. Like I work the whole day and then I come home, I cook for the kids, and then when they go to bed I carry on working, and I only go to bed like 11, 12, and then I'm up again at 5,
Have
back
you
to work.
have you ever thought of just trying to write down or archive what you're feeling? I know there might not be a lot of time for that, but do you have any type of form of archiving your thoughts or your day to day?
So I used to do that, like in the mornings when I drive to work. I have all these stupid like voice recordings where I just talk shit to myself. But life has literally become like now on the way to work, I'm like voice messaging everyone. Hey, remember to do this. Hey, we need to do that, and
Yeah,
need
work,
to
and
plan this and plan that.
organize.
Yeah, so it's really been crazy. The thing is as well with my day job, we used to be four girls in the office and now it's only me. So and business is picking up again after lockdown. So it's really been it's been crazy.
But you always seem to still find time for music and creative outlet. That is something I feel it's extremely important. And off record, we
Yeah,
talked briefly about it, and I haven't touched any of my creative side in a while, and I felt antsy. I felt like, oh my word, there's
yeah,
something wrong. I need to do something. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
still see you as you very active musically and artistically, and with your business as well. You guys are still doing really, really well with that regard. So I'm actually
yeah.
really proud of you guys to actually just keep pushing no matter what, all
Thank
of those
you.
circumstances. I mean, I don't even have two kids or
Yeah.
half of those things in my life, and I don't have time for my creative things. But it's really amazing to see that you still push through with your creative side.
I must say that the gigs have really kept me sane the last year or so. Especially like I'm so grateful for everyone that books me. You know, I do a lot of acoustic stuff and we do a few like full band stuff as well. And I'm really so grateful to get gigs. And that's literally like at the moment, that's my release. We have band practice. And even though we would love to have more time to work on new material and stuff, but currently we're just working on the same set every time. But it's also good because I mean we get tighter and better at it. So but yeah, the gigs have really been my saving grace. So I at least have that form of release. You know how it is when you get on stage, like you become a different person and
Yeah.
you just, yeah, you just let go of all the shit.
Yeah, because you forget about the world, and it's just you and that instrument, and you don't really care about what's going on around you. And I feel, especially with a lot of that emotional stress that is happening in your life, that is a luxury not many people have.
Yeah, 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 definitely. That's how, unless you play with people like Steven Gosterman, and then you're like freaking nervous. And you like mess up on stage because you're like, fuck. But no, it's fun. It's fun.
So, I like to actually a little bit elaborate. I'm very proud of the direction 1177 has taken, and if you don't mind elaborating to the world what 1177 is and that project of yours, I
Yeah.
think it's actually a really cool initiative.
Yeah, it's really great. Like we've been so fortunate to be able to work at Railways Cafe every weekend. We do the sound there, and then when there's bigger bands that play, we do like backline and lighting and everything. And we've had the privilege of working with some of South Africa's best acts. It's really surreal. So tomorrow night we're doing lights and sound for Gordon Zoid, and it's really amazing. And through working at railways, we've been getting a lot of word of mouth marketing and other bookings and stuff. So we haven't even really launched or done excessive marketing and stuff, and it's just really going very, very well. So I'm super proud, and it has been tough. It's been hard work, but it's definitely paying off slowly but surely.
Yeah, well, you guys are building the type of connections, and I think that word of mouth connection, just providing a very good service, that is something
Yeah,
alone in South Africa, of all places, that you can't put a price on. I mean, if you just provide a
yeah,
very good service, no matter what you do, that word of mouth that literally no one can pay for, is gonna be
Yeah, yeah,
golden. And like I said, I'm very proud. I mean, I was there with you guys and from start into where it is right now. I just think it's
exactly.
blossomed into such a beautiful thing. And I don't think a lot of people know you're involved in a lot of these projects. That's why I like to have you on this podcast, because I've always admired you as an individual, because I think you're one of the amazing few people that I know who can still keep their preserve their sanity amongst all of what you're happening right now. Still, walk around with a big
Oh,
smile on your face, inspiring people around you, and being that same inspiration to your children yourself. You can see it in your children's faces and their mannerisms as well. And what I wanted to ask is, do you have you started incorporating them in creative projects with music and all of these things as well?
uh, sorry, I'm like almost crying now. Your your kind words. Thank you.
Okay.
um, it's actually it's awesome. Like so, Bjorn, Bjorn has always wanted to be a drummer.
Yeah.
So he's joined the school band now, and he's doing drums, and we've got the electric kit here, and he's practicing and stuff. And Raynon still hasn't like started with his guitaring, but he doesn't want guitar, he wants a bass. So I need
Yeah.
to get him a
A
bass.
band.
But I know a band, he wants a band, yeah. But no, like they're starting to learn like because obviously all the gear is like standing around in my house, so they're learning like what the monitors are and the desk and the cables and all of that. And when we have band practice and the kids go with, then Rainen especially likes to help with the setup, and he's like
Okay. He's
super
gonna be a
into
little
it.
sound engineer, I think.
Yeah, I think it will be awesome for both of them to learn. Because I said to Bjorn, if he wants like a vacation job or something, and we work at venues where kids are allowed, he must come with and learn, and we can
Yeah.
pay him and stuff like that. So I definitely think they'll get involved. So yeah, that's very exciting, and I love having them involved, and I love that they love music so much.
How does being a mother motivate you to not only be the best who you can be for your children, but in your private capacity as well?
Definitely, definitely. I think if anything, they are definitely the reason I am keeping myself sane. Because they need me. They need me to be aware and there to my fullest ability. And I think they're definitely the reason why I'm I'm still as driven as I am. And you know, I
But
need
it,
to make this life comfortable for them.
and by doing that, you need to push yourself to above your limits in order to achieve that. You need to work at least triple
Yeah,
harder than the average human to not
I
only keep
know.
yourself sane. You've got two mouths and two minds to keep
Yeah,
afloat as well. um
exactly.
but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you could actually see yourself um in a different profession, like you say where you got a new job and all of these jobs. Would you do music full time, or would you like to do 1177 full time, or what has been your ultimate profession that you always wanted to be if you didn't do what you do right now?
I think it's always been like a full-time musician. Um, but that's like the kind of dream you have when you're a kid. And then when you grow up, you realize you can't just be a full-time musician.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills. But I think 1177, what we're doing there, because there's a lot of production stuff as well, like the filming and
It's
photography, music videos, all of those things.
it's
And I like to be
multimedia
involved.
expression. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean, their like creativeness is unlimited. The
Yeah.
sky is the limit, and I love that. And I love like working with other creative people, and just every time you work with another musician or another creative mind, you just learn so much, and it just broadens your creative side. And you just realize like shit, there's no limit to this. You can literally do anything, and it's awesome.
Who sparked your love for music? Where does your love for music come from? How old were you when you first picked up a guitar? So, who was the person who inspired you to become a musician?
I think if I have to be completely honest, it's definitely my elder sister. Um, I mean, she is studying music production now at one of the best schools in Europe. And she's doing so well for herself. And when we were young, my mom's brother passed away and he left some money for us. And I got ice skates and my
Mhm.
sister got a guitar. And when I saw that guitar, I was like, this is what I want to do. So
Where
she,
does one use
I was
ice
obviously,
skates in South Africa anyway?
I used to do figure skating.
Oh
So
wow, okay. Sorry, I stand
yeah,
corrected.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so I was obviously the annoying little sister, so I would bug her, and she'd eventually just give me the books and the guitar, and she's like, just figure it out. So I kind of taught myself the basic stuff, and yeah, I mean, she introduced me to the Cranberries, and to the Doors, and like all the cool music, Nirvana, you name it. She literally introduced me to 90s rock and alternative and stuff. And that is to today, it's the stuff that really makes me very happy and comfortable. That is like such a big part of my life, is that genre, that era of music. Um, yeah, so definitely my sister is the reason I became a musician.
What what type of guitar was it?
I can't even remember, but it was a nylon.
Oh, nice.
It was, yeah. And I very soon realized like I do not like this. I prefer a steel string. So
But
tiny
have you
hands. I
always
was six
been
when,
sorry?
sorry.
No. Please continue.
No, I was 6 years old, so I had obviously tiny hands, and the guitar was like huge, and
Yeah, and the
yeah. So
fretboard on a nylon guitar is like a piano.
I know, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that was how everything started for me.
And you've been
I
self-taught
think
your whole
the
time.
first, yes. Well, besides now, obviously the things that I've learned from other musicians, playing with other musicians and stuff. But yeah, the first song I learned to play on the guitar was Sorry Mare.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So basically your get basic garden variety average song to learn on a guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry. I mean, everybody learns. Everybody's first song is "Smoke on the Water," but "Sorry Mare" is quite
Yeah.
a song to vibe to. Anyway,
Well, that was in the book, so
yeah, that was
I was
your
limited on knowledge.
that's also the wonder wall of South Africa at the time. It's like anyway, here's "Sorry Mare."
Exactly. I mean, I think I only realized like in like I think fifth grade, I realized like, oh my word, you get South African bands that play rock music. Are you for real? You can play that stuff here. I thought it was like Afrikaans only.
Yeah, don't worry. I was also
So yeah.
that the initial mind blown situation when you listen to music, because I grew up with Tux FM, where I used to
Mm,
listen to it late at night, and then when you vibe out to a song and they say, "Well, this is a band from Pretoria," and you think to yourself, "What? Was that South African?"
exactly.
That initial realization, because you only think that cool music exists abroad.
Exactly. Like for the longest time, I thought like any Not My Dog song, I thought was Rage Against the Machine. And then
What?
eventually I was like, wait, what is this Not My Dog band? And then eventually it's like, what? They're South African?
And then when you connect the dots, how many members of certain bands are in other bands that you also like, and then you see the influence from that. That a rabbit hole is something I
Exactly.
enjoyed going down as a kid myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that was like, that's why I love the 90s so much, because like everything just blew my mind the whole time. It's just like, what? Yeah. It was a good time for music.
But also, I really like the integration of, if you think about the 90s. a lot of people see this as generic, but I see it as actually really creative. But the 90s was really
Yeah.
prolific with regards to pop. Okay. Pop, with
Yes.
a lot of catchy tunes came from the 90s. And also
Yeah.
rock decided, you know what, we're gonna break away from old school rock and roll, and we're gonna actually, try and implement this, but also in a rock vibe. And I think a lot of the 90s experimentation with pop and rock and that genre alone in the 90s, I think it's people get stuck in the 80s because of the experimentation that went on in the 80s, but I still feel
Yeah.
compared to the 90s, there's, if you have to put a sound to it, because the 80s was a lot one track mind. If you say 80s, there's a whole
Yes.
decade, and the whole decade sounds the same. But if you have to listen
Exactly.
to what happened in the 90s, and if you have to tell people that song came out in the 90s, that song came out in the 90s, you think about, Chris Cornell. I mean, a lot of the stuff he did in the
Yes.
90s, Better Than Ezra, and all of those bands,
I know.
what
Yeah.
they've done with the pop and rock. And that's what I really liked about that era of music, was that catchy,
Yes.
fun vibes, but we're also making the people who likes rock and roll to also be able to sing along.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that you know me, I love British bands, and specifically for that reason, I think they had such a classy way of bringing rock and pop together. Like the tone and just like, yeah, I love that. I absolutely love it. And you're so right. It went from a very straight line, everything sounds the same, to like, whoa, explode, all new genres and everything. It was such a great time for music.
Would you say that your love for British rock is more of, because I feel if you look at America versus British, you've mentioned this the other day, well, a while ago, with regards to the
Yeah.
movies. The, like, American movies is way more predictable, and well, everything that can go
Yes.
wrong will go wrong, and you can after a
Yes.
while kind of predict what's going to happen. Versus British is a little bit more refined, is that probably why you
Yeah.
like the British rock a little bit more, because it's got that little bit more refined, like you say, classy tone to it?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bands that I love that come from America, so
Yeah, of course,
I'm
of
not
course.
dissing American bands at all, but there is just something sophisticated about like British or like European bands. There's just something different about it. The way they write, the way they compose their music, everything. It's literally done with a lot more style, if I can put it that way. And um, yeah, I guess that that unpredicted thing, where I feel there's a pattern, and then you get Radiohead. Like
Okay,
they
yeah,
like
okay.
screw the pattern. But yeah, I mean, you also get bands like Tool that are from America. They are from America, right?
Yeah, they are from America.
Yeah. So I guess it's across the board, but I
Yeah,
mean,
but just
look
why
at
you
Kings of
prefer.
Leon, for instance. They're an American band, but they didn't make it in America until they wrote like Sex on Fire, which is such a predictable commercial song. But they're awesome, like awesome stuff. Like they made it big in Europe first because Europe is just a bit more open-minded to different things.
And if I can dive a little bit deeper into this podcast, is how would you feel you with the process that you go through with regards to writing your music? Where does your a lot of you said that with regards to love and personal experiences with family and friends, but if upon listening to your music, it sounds very fun and vibey, but it's very deep lyrics. And how do you stem your music from? I mean, does it come out of anger and sadness like most artists do? But can you take me through the thought process with regards to average Meel Vignetting song?
Um, and it's weird. Like, if I can give you an example, so St. Mary's. Um, when I wrote that song, to me it was like kind of a love song.
Mm.
And then you actually messaged me one day and you're like, shit, I'm listening to the song and it makes me want to cry. And I was
I
like,
was actually
but
crying
wait,
in a
what?
in the parking lot, listening to that song.
Exactly. I remember that. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, wait, shit. And then after you messaged me, I think a few days later, another friend of mine sent a message and she's like, I'm so sorry that you went through that. And I'm like, what? What is everyone talking about? And then I took a step back and I actually like read the lyrics, and I was like, shit, okay, like that was actually like a really fucked up relationship I was in.
Like,
And
damn, I didn't even know it was that rough.
exactly. And I think through like something like that, I actually get to know myself because I am very blasé about certain things, which I think sometimes is a positive thing because emotional things don't get to me that much. But I think it's only because I don't realize how hectic it actually is. Like, and then I write a song, and then people are like, "What the fuck?" And then I look at it, and I'm like, "Oh shit," you know. Um, I actually went through a hectic thing and I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of my songs, like I just write. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a release, and I just like I play the music and then I just write lyrics and stuff. And sometimes, you add a word, you're like, oh, this will work nice here and stuff. And and recording the songs and actually listening to them and hearing other people's feedback, it just opens up a different world to me. And then I'm like, wow, okay, like this is what it actually means. So through putting my music out there, I actually get to know myself better,
Yeah,
which is weird.
St. Mary's just hit me, hit me really hard at the time because I was going through a really intense breakup as well, and
Yeah.
upon listening to that, I was sitting there like, damn, Meel, who hurt you, Meel? Who hurt you?
But it's crazy, and because I know the background of what you went through, and then you sent me that message, I was able to, kind of put myself in that situation and realize, like, shit, that's what I actually went through.
Mm.
Like I was thinking, oh, this guy's so cute, like, ha ha ha, he's like playing hard to get. Meantime, he's just fucking with me.
But do you think there's a part of your mind, kind of like your subconscious, that is like, just let me out, and then when your so
Yeah.
subconscious writing this music, and then when you take that step back, your between inverted commas, your logic mind says like, "Whoa, I've been suppressing these feelings all along without actually giving it attention."
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy, and it's so like, me, I always say I'm a late bloomer. So I'm even like blooming late with my own songs because it's only now that where I actually take a step back and I really look at the lyrics and I really listen to the songs, and I can actually pinpoint like, wow, okay, this comes. So it's actually healing as well, because
Mm.
you can finally see like the root of where it all comes from, and then it's easier to work through it and heal.
And actually recording all of these songs in the EP with the journey, how did you feel when actually saw all of these songs, putting a little bit of meat on those skeletons, how did you feel after that song, after that EP was done?
It's really amazing, because I mean, I've always been playing these songs alone. it's
Yeah.
it's always just been me and my guitar, and to actually put other instruments to it and color the songs, it was really amazing. It's been an amazing journey, and I mean, even now still, when we practice and stuff, we're like, ooh, this will sound cool, so maybe we
Yeah,
can
now
put a
you're
break
actually
in here or whatever.
you're performing those songs now with a full band as well. It's not just they're recorded on EP.
Exactly.
You get to actually perform them with more people,
Yeah,
not just you and your guitar. I mean, that must be phenomenal.
it is. It really is. And especially because we're now like bringing everything together as like a proper show, like this song leads into that song, and here we pause this and that. So it really you know, it's you put a lot more emotion into it, because now it's like a whole thing. It's a story now. You know, it's not just a song anymore. It's literally every instrument adds to the emotion in a certain way. And
And other
yeah,
people
it's really
and the people
amazing.
playing those emotions resonate with the song at a certain manner, and they add their flavor to
Yes.
your songs as well, which kind of brings it
Yeah.
also like together in quite a surreal way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the best part. I think that's the best part, especially because, like, saying to you, like, hearing other people's feedback on my songs and what they take from it and stuff. It's exactly the same way with playing, other musicians playing with me. You know, it just it brings that whole story to life in a different way, which is awesome.
And would you feel like, even though if it's not music or any other form or medium of art, even if you're an engineer, do you think that anyone on this planet needs some form of creative release, whether it's architecture or building couches or whatever? Do you think that creativity is important for mental health?
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't. So what I've been doing, if I take some time off lately, like, I sit in front of the TV, and I hate doing that. I absolutely hate doing that, but I just don't have the energy. I'm so tired to, I don't have the energy to do anything else. So literally for like half an hour to just switch off before I go to bed, I like watch something on Netflix. And it's killing me because it's not a creative outlet. It's literally a story filling your mind with nonsense, you know, instead of you taking a pen and a paper and you letting your mind out, not
Mm.
letting nonsense into your mind. You need to let the nonsense out of your mind. So I think you definitely need a creative outlet of some form, and not just like go to work, come home, eat, and watch TV. That will kill you slowly but surely.
I can understand now why you feel like this new job opportunity, you're going to be relieved because you feel like you can actually now let out a little bit more, because I think you were felt like a, like a pelican in a canary cage. You couldn't,
Exactly.
you couldn't express yourself at all. And I've actually
Exactly.
caught myself the other day. It might have been stupid, but I I bought a margarita pizza. Okay,
Oh yeah.
so I was thinking to myself, never in my whole entire life have I went out and ordered a margarita pizza because it's got just cheese on it. I always go for some
Yeah.
type of interesting toppings, and I've never really ordered a margarita pizza because who does that? Seriously, just margarita, just nothing else on it. So
Kids who are fussy do that, and that's it.
yeah, but I've thought like, I've never out of my own, it's weird. I've never out of my as a 32-year-old man, out of my own personal accord, went to go buy a margarita pizza because it's like the most vanilla thing you can do. So I bought a margarita pizza literally yesterday, and
And it was the best thing ever, right?
calm down, calm down. I need to tell you the story because the story is interlocking with your story. And I bought this
Okay, okay, sorry.
margarita pizza, and I sat in front of the TV and I watched TV while eating this margarita pizza. And I think to myself, is this what's happening to my life right now? Sitting, eating a margarita pizza and watching TV. I fucking hate TV. What am I doing with my life? Eating the most bland pizza in the world, and I'm sitting in front of a TV while eating this. No, I felt
Oh man.
disgusted. I had to stand up. I had to go eat my pizza outside and at least just look at nature rather than do it in front of a TV. I felt so disgusted with
Uh,
myself.
oh man. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I think, look, TV is fun and stuff, and if you watch like cool movies and stuff like that, but it shouldn't be like an everyday kind of thing, you know. It shouldn't be the way you switch off. The
Yeah,
way you need to switch off from life is being creative, you know.
I laugh at it now, but I think sometimes I'm extremely hard on myself all of the time, right? and I don't want to fall
Yes, I know
into
this.
old habits or anything like that. And I just thought it's a silly situation that I mean, we can laugh about it, but I think somewhere in my subconscious, I'm thinking to myself, wow, okay, you're literally gone to a point where you chose the most bland option you can possibly choose, and you're not doing anything at that moment of time. I think a part of my mind just got scared, like, dude, don't go down that path. I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah,
And you are a
yeah,
firm believer in the universe as well, and I can sense your frustration with your old job. And I know you've been talking about it for a while, and people walk over you and all of those things, and you
yeah,
sometimes, you respect other people more, with your time than you actually do yourself. And I think we're so easy to forget that, what, we need to respect ourselves more than other people, and we shove ourselves underneath
exactly.
the mats. And if that has gone past so far where you can't turn around, then there's no way up. And I think you need to be able to catch yourself before it goes too far. And I'm actually quite thankful that you actually got to a point where you can say enough is enough, I'm moving on.
Yeah,
Not everybody gets
yeah,
to that point. I think some people go past that threshold, and they've gone so far down that rabbit hole, they literally, by the time they dig themselves out of it, their lives are over. They spend most of their lives just
exactly.
digging themselves out of the hole that they got themselves into. And
Yeah.
it's intense. I mean, a lot of people fall down that. And and that's why I think that's why I ask you, do you think creativity is necessary? Because I believe it is 100% necessary.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's very interesting that you say this, like, because I've seen this at my current workplace, where people tend to be in a position for too long, and it's almost as if they're like starting to lose their mind, you know? Because you can't do the same thing over and over and over and over, because you'll never grow as a person. And I think that was my biggest frustration now is I've hit the ceiling. There's literally no growth for me. There's nothing that challenges me. It's the same thing every day, and people get more rude, and um, it felt like everyone around me is just losing their minds and going crazy, and I don't want to live in that kind of chaos. um, it was definitely time for me to get out and have a new challenge and start afresh, and be able to push myself further beyond where I am now. Because if you're stuck in a hole, like you say, and you try and get out there, eventually it might be too late.
I've become really socially awkward. You might not believe this, but I've become, I don't know if you thought I've always been socially awkward or what the case is, but I've, I've
I don't
personally,
think you're socially awkward. I just think some people find your social skills awkward. If I can put it that
isn't that the
way.
same thing? Just worded
I
differently.
don't think you. I don't think you feel awkward, but
No, but I
other
am
people
awkward.
might feel awkward. Yes, yes.
Um, no, but I've actually feel like I've grown more socially awkward because moving to a new town where
Yeah,
I am not constantly reminded by my past, because I was always reminded, oh, you're not usually like this. I always try to express myself for who I am, and I've always been haunted by my past. But now I can
yeah,
be
yeah.
myself, and that's who I am to new people that meets me. But I've grown to a
That's
point where
awesome.
it is awesome for me. It is actually, but I've gone
Yes.
to a point where I see people who are, like you say, in that threshold, and they say they can't do this, they can't do that, and
Yeah.
I get frustrated by those people, because I'm saying, listen here, dude, you say you can't do this, but at night you say you sit in front of your TV, you watch Netflix, and in the morning you wake up and you go down here and you say there's no room for anything. You know what? You're actually preventing yourself from achieving
Yeah.
anything. I'm not saying you need to quit your day job right now, but you're actually coming towards the
Work
world.
towards something.
You're coming
Yeah.
out there in the world, and you're projecting your negativity to us, where you are the only person
Mm.
that's preventing yourself from achieving anything. And I've become so frustrated with these people where I tell them, where I would literally physically tell someone, listen, yeah, I don't want to hear this shit. Either sort yourself out. I don't want to hear this. If you talk to me, come to me with solutions in your life rather than talk to me about, oh no, season 2 of this show didn't come out. And then you complain that you
Oh,
don't want to be at this office. So,
yeah.
I don't have no fault anymore, but I don't feel like I need to hold myself back. That's why I say that respect you have for yourself. I'm no
Yes.
longer, I think any single person on this planet needs to actually not compensate or hold themselves back for another person. Because if you do that for too
Absolutely.
long, you're going to die emotionally and physically. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, that's very true. I agree with you 100%. And I think by being brutally honest and like just unapologetically yourself, it also filters out like the people that will only use you or will only stick by you when you portray a certain person. And the people that do stick by you when you're completely yourself, they're the ones that will stick with you forever, you know?
100%. And those are the people you want in your life, you know?
Exactly.
I'm done with seeing, I see this all over the show. People sticking around people where they feel, but I know him for 20 years. So that means this person has literally been walking over you for 20 years and you don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And now it's definitely I think I can sense amongst our generation. I think we are definitely the generation that is waking up to the bullshit and saying like no more bullshit, you know. And I think it's a good time. Even though it's a weird time to be alive, I think it's a good time to be alive.
We're all between inverted commas, and I hate using this term, woke.
Exactly.
So, and what would you say is any new
Um,
creative projects
and
that you are gonna work on now that you feel, a little bit more revitalized and fresh and ready for the world? Is there anything new on the horizon for you?
well, we've been talking band wise. We've been talking about recording again this year. So we actually we want to step back and do like a little bit fewer shows. And just maybe focus on the brand for a moment. So we want to record new songs and we want to build on the brand. Like we recently recorded an intro for our live show, so now we have like a proper, very cool intro,
Oh, nice.
and we actually have band uniform. So yeah, so we're building a brand, and I think if we release some more music and some more music videos and stuff, and just tighten up the show, then from next year I think we can maybe try and do a few more bigger shows, um not that we don't enjoy playing all the awesome venues and doing little shows, but there's only like 3 venues in Pretoria, and you can't play at them all like 3 times a month, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, especially if you got the same set. Um,
I know.
so if you want
it's
to
it's
make your set,
crazy.
so if you want to make your set tight and for the same audience, that's probably not going to resonate the same. Then let's say you guys go to Bloemfontein, they're hearing your music for the first time live, and you guys are already tight. So yeah,
Exactly.
I think pushing a little bit back and focusing on the music and trying to record
Yeah.
and then coming out with some new material after a while is something that people would like from Meel Vignetting. And because the metamorphosis
Yeah.
with regards to your music and art has been phenomenal even just from 2020 to now. It's been quite crazy to watch, and I don't know whoever's listening over here who's seen it is absolutely great. I mean, watching you from just you alone play shows acoustic to your full piece band, it is a beautiful
Yeah.
metamorphosis.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you that you've been a part of this, man. Honestly. I wouldn't have done it without you because you were literally the one that kind of pulled me out of the solo hole.
Please don't ever say that loud again.
But yeah, awkward, but truth. It's the truth. I mean, so you and I both. I mean, we were looking for projects and stuff, and I think it's really great that we landed up together and we started this thing. You know.
No,
So
I'm
if it
very
wasn't for you,
very honored to have been a part of it because you were also the first album that I've recorded as a. I never call
oh,
myself as a musician. I ever I never call myself. I've always been someone who refers to myself who dabbles in music. But you've been a like. But yeah, that was the first album I've
uh,
recorded in my life, and I'm very honored to have been a part of that journey as well.
and it's great. It's great. I think it's. I mean, for we recorded that thing in your flat and my flat, and
Yeah,
I think it's
even played
awesome.
even played a little incognito show in Stellenbosch, halfway around the
I
country.
know.
It was crazy,
Oh
and
man, it
um,
was
I,
crazy.
I wouldn't exchange that for the world. And it's actually quite fun. The other day, I listened to St. Mary's again, so to bring this
Yeah.
conversation full circle. And and one of my friends was sitting in the car with me. And he was like, "Wow, the bass in this sounds really cool." And I said, "Really? I think it sucks." And and he's like, "No."
Oh man.
And he was sitting listening to it was just sitting there listening to it a little bit, and then I thought he was going to mention something about the bass, and he also just started crying, and I was like, "What?"
Oh
And
no.
yeah, I was making a joke because because of the bass, haha, bass kind of sucks, whatever. And then he started crying. I'm like, "Oh, is the bass that bad?" It's like, "No, I'm feeling something, because I
Oh,
know this person, and this person never opens up. He's always been one of those people, even if he goes through a really bad time, he wants to make a joke about it and just try to be strong. And,
yeah.
seeing that face to
Wow.
face is quite cool, because it's okay. I don't want to say it's cool to see my friends cry, but it
No,
is.
no,
I
but it's
love it to see my
I
friends
get
cry.
I get where you're coming from.
But it was actually quite it was the first time in my personal life that I actually see someone being moved by something I've been a part of. And you guys get to see that every single day
Wow.
still. And I still think that is such a amazingly beautiful thing to be part of. And I would just like to tell you guys to just please keep moving, please keep
Yeah.
going, because there are people out there who's listening who's still feeling things with regards to this
Yeah.
music. And I don't know what the new direct. I'm looking forward to see the new direction you guys are going to take, but please don't stop.
Yes. But that's the reason why we do it is we put our music out there because we want people to feel it and we want to move people, and I think if it's amazing if there's people out there that relate, even if it doesn't even have the same meaning to that person, but if a song can move you in a way where you're like, shit, I'm not the only one that goes through this. I'm not alone in this fucked up world. That's
Yeah.
why we do music
I even told him, and
to
I
bring
said
people
that the song is
together.
kind of like, when you watch Lion King and Mufasa died. I also went through that. I also listened. I've also listened to this song, and I also cried like a baby. Don't feel like you're the first person who's going through this. It's what this song does. It's literally Mufasa.
Oh man, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm very honored to be compared to that like emotional moment in every small child's life.
I don't
Mufasa
know.
dies.
I'm glad you saw it like that, because most people be like, "Oh, well, compared to Mufasa dying."
That's
But
a very iconic thing,
it
you know.
is. Everyone,
It
everyone
is.
felt something. Don't say you have never watched that movie and you didn't feel anything. Um,
Exactly.
so if I have to conclude this podcast, ask you,
Y-
Meel Vignetting,
Yeah.
is there anything that you want to say to the world, where it can be advice or just something short and sweet, or anything that you want to share to the world, no matter who it is, if it's a child, if it's an adult, or anyone? What would you like to say to the listeners out there in the universe?
Um, so something that's been on my heart a lot of late is so Raynon has been going through this thing at school where there's a boy in his class that's a little bit naughty. Well, not a little bit, a lot. And he's like the one, because you know how Raynon is, like what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And he's Captain Justice. And so he's been
The
standing
moral
up to
compass.
it's strong. It's very strong for this one. But so this kid, because Raynon is now standing up against him and kind of putting him in his place, this kid like actually started getting physical with Raynon, which is quite scary because Raynon has this condition and stuff. So um and it's been like the school is dealing with it like amazingly. Honestly, I can't fault them on any of that, but I literally have this like heavy thing hovering over me where I just want to, like, every parent I see anywhere, I just want to grab them and be like, just teach your kids freaking manners, teach them peace, teach them love, like don't teach them to like hurt other kids, or if you're frustrated, like like beat someone or like shove them and stuff like that, because you never know what that other kid lives with, and one wrong punch can take that person's life, you know and I think like parents just need to own up and like teach their kids to be decent people, and that in itself will just change the world entirely. Like violence is not the answer. If you're frustrated, or if your child is frustrated, like take them for like get them a boxing sack or whatever you call it, a punch bag,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's like something that's been heavy on my heart. So if I can just say anything to everyone that listens, like even if you don't have kids but you have like nieces and nephews, and just
Teach any
kids
child
are very,
manners.
any child, just tell them, like, like the world is rough, but you can't change the world with like anger. You can only change the world with love, you know
Because
and maybe
children are
even
very
this, maybe some,
susceptible to anything from an adult. If children see adults as like, wow, they're
exactly.
superheroes, and how you interact with them and what you say to them, they're very malleable.
Exactly. And I think if you can teach a child something profound, like from a young age, that will stick with them forever. You know, I remember when I was in kindergarten, there was this boy and he couldn't draw for shit, and
In
everyone was always
kindergarten.
mocking him. Exactly. And my mom, because my mom was a kindergarten teacher,
Don't say
and she
exactly.
always said
I'm
to
still
me,
that kid. Sorry for interrupting.
no, but my mom said, like, don't mock him, just tell him that it's beautiful, and I was like, that like stuck with me always. I was always like, shit, you never know what's going on in his life, and maybe his mom doesn't help him draw pictures, maybe no one teaches him how to draw pictures, and I was always nice to him about it. And even if I was the only child that was nice to him about it, I hope he remembers me as like, shit, not everyone is messed up. There's one person at least that was nice to me. And I think if you can carry a message like that over to kids, that's a small seed that might make a big difference in someone else's life.
A mutual friend of ours told me when I had the podcast with him, Fritz.
Yeah.
We were talking about guitars and everything, and he said there's no right or wrong way to play a guitar as long as you just express yourself. And
Yes.
if you think about this, if you've seen what people do with guitars, with the percussion they do about it, and where they play
Exactly.
with the machine heads and all kinds of things, imagine if people told those people, when they try to explore these weird and creative ways to play their guitars, that is wrong. Don't do it like that. Then we would have never had people doing that with just guitars. You get people being creative, drawing with their feet. Imagine you tell those people that you can't draw with your feet. Well, they're literally
Yeah,
proving that wrong. So if you have to tell
exactly.
children, you know what, you can't draw for shit, you know, and what, you don't know what type of artist that person would have been if he just continued to explore his create, because that could have been the next Jackson Pollock. You wouldn't know.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing. Another lady said to me the other day, she's like, you, I think Reino's mom, man. Reino's mom said to me, she's like, you don't know who you are raising. So, I mean, and that really hit me because I don't know who I'm raising. And I need to be very mindful about what I say. And you know, I can't tell them you can't do that, because why can't they do that? You know? So it's crazy if you think like you don't know who you're raising, and your words and how you encourage them and stuff. It's very important, you know.
Meel, I would just like to say thank you very much for being on my show. It's been wonderful for having you. It's been a long time coming, you know. It would have happened a lot
Oh,
sooner, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy it happened when it did. And I would just like to thank you for
yeah.
all of your wisdom and inspiration that you have poured over to my side over the years. And I must just say,
Ah,
I'm really, really honored to call you one of my close personal friends.
but so am I. So am I. And it's really good to chat to you and catch up and stuff.
Mil, thank you very much. All of the best with your endeavors, and I'm looking forward to see what next and beautiful creative projects is coming from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and all the best to you as well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.